Hi, I'm Sarah from Heirloom Creations, and the ruler of the month is how to make scallops. Now, that's something that you probably don't use a lot, but we're going to show you 5 different ways that you can feature them in your quilts and as binding. How about binding your quilts in one simple pass after you've made a row of scallops? We're going to be working with the Quick Point Ruler Scallops. There's actually 5 different sizes, starting off as small as a 1/2 inch, 3/4, 1 inch, 1 1/2, and a full 2-inch size scallop. The 2-inch is what I use for binding. You can do this in a multiple of ways. You can do them so that it's the same color when you go to fold the scallops together, or you can do a 2-color scallop, which we've done and inserted in here. So you've got a light and a dark blue type feature. The nice thing is how you get these turned. That's probably the one thing people struggle with the most, getting a nice turned scalloped edge. And that's where the pushers come in. These pushers are exactly matched to the size of ruler that you buy. And what you do is these are heat resistant. So when you're at your iron, clip them, which we'll show you, and turn them. You stick your pusher in, you press on them, and you have perfect scallops for all your projects. We're going to show you how we did this pillow and did the beautiful flower on here. And then also these cute little bags, we've added the smaller sizes with the 1-color scallops, and then also the smallest one, we even kind of just added it as rickrack. These are the Atkinson Designs Zippy Strippy bags, and then the table runner behind us will feature is also with Kate's Big Binding, one of our most popular downloaded patterns from our website. You want to click on the blog or click on the link below this YouTube video to get to our blog. They'll have all the details, written out instructions, and more pictures. Let's get started on how we make the scallops. So when you get the rulers, they do come with the paper on the back, which you can peel off and make them clear. On the ruler is everything you need to know about pressing, marking, and sewing. So just read along. You don't even have to keep any of the instructions that come with it. And we're going to start off by showing you how to do the 2-color scallops that we've inserted here inside this little table runner. We have used Kate's Big Binding. That is a pattern that you can download on the internet. It is great for a way to put binding on a quilt. It is pretty fun. And what we've done is we just slipped in the scallops right before we stitched it down, all done by the machine. So take a look at the scallops here. I'm going to use a Frixion pin, and to get the 2-colored scallops, we start off with 2 pieces of fabric, right sides together. I've got the lightest one on top, so it's easy to see and mark. And of course, we're going to be sewing pretty soon. So just lay your template on your fabric. You really just need it a little bit bigger than the actual scallop template here. And then just go around. We need to mark everything. So not only around the outside, but at each of the little dips, there is a little dot. So mark those little dots there. You're going to have them on both sides. Those are where you stop when you sew. And the dotted lines, that's your sewing line. You're going to be about a 1/4 inch in here, and then you kind of taper towards that little dot. The dot is also going to give you a place. When you stitch it, you're going to stitch down, stitch 1 stitch straight at the dot, and then pivot, and then come back up and around. And then we will trim on this outside part. Now, once you get to the end of your ruler, I'll show you how we connect the two. Let me get a little bit more on this side. Here, I'll just mark it down here. And then, here we go. So, you get to the end of your strip. You're going to have a little tiny notch here. That's the little point. And all you have to do is line that back up, and you'll be able to continue on marking as long as your strips. If you need this something really long, you're going to sew as many strips as you need all the way together, and then mark everything at once, and then we're going to head to the sewing machine. I've stitched with some darker threads so you can see where you're stitching. You kind of go out about a 1/4 inch and then pivot down at the little marked area. One of the first things I like to do is actually take my scissors and clip right down to the dot. So get nice and close, maybe leave about a thread or so, and this will help for our next step. Instead of clipping all these curves, you know you can use pinking shears to go around curves, and then you don't have to do any of that extra little clips. I love pinking shears. Oh, just a little note, we used a Frixion pen. This will, none of this is really going to show, but it will press out with the heat of an iron. And one other thing is these lines down the center of the ruler are also marked because we also need to have a place to snip to turn. So what I'm going to do is just get a hold of this top layer and snip to open it, and then slide my scissors down and just kind of cut down the middle of all your scallops. So you just run that all the way down your entire strip. Now where you started, if you've stitched it closed, then that will be a nice finished edge when we get there. Okay, ready for the magic of pinking shears? So because we've clipped through to these little V's, all we need to do is run our pinking shears right along the edge of the scallops. Then it just stops right where you've made the other clip, and then you just keep going on all the scallops. You'll kind of find how close you can get without actually clipping through your threads. The stitch length was also reduced to 2 millimeters. That's best to really help these stay nice, a nice tight seam around everything. Okay, next we're going to talk about turning and pressing after you get everything clipped. After you've turned everything kind of right side out through the cut opening, just take your pusher, push it in, and watch, it's just going to push all the way up into the little scallop, and then you're going to hit it with a little best press and press with your iron. Done. Just keep going down your strip on both sides, and you'll have all your scallops ready to go. Once everything is pressed, the cut edge is the inside. So we're just going to fold it in half, and because we have the two colors, that's what's going to show through. Now on this project, we just inserted underneath this binding and stitched it and just pinned it in place and caught it in the seam. And actually, that's kind of cute with the brown border extending into the brown scallop. That would have been a cute combination, but we chose to actually do two different colors here. Kind of made a table runner type feature. And then for the quilt binding, we used the largest size, the 2-inch, and same color. So we just took the edge of our quilt, quilted it, did batting and back, and laid a piece of scallop strip right over the edge and just pinned it in place. And as you can see, here, we'll scoot that down just a little bit. We'll line that up from what those were. See how cute that is? And then all we did was we took a walking foot and stitched a 1/4 inch in. Done. How easy is that? And then actually doing a corner, you just kind of miter those little guys, and where they go, It's pretty easy. Last project though, let's show you how easy it was to do this scalloped flower pillow. Here's a quick look at how the scallop pillow is put together. Now it's just laying right here. So this is how it all starts. What you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and take and make a 2-colored scallop. Fold it in half and then run it through your ruffler. Set the ruffler to be like stitching every 6 stitch. We have ruffling videos that you can check out to know how to use your ruffler. Run that all the way through, and then what you're going to do is just start at the end and twist, twist, twist. And we're going to start off by making that little bud for the center of the flower. This is just my pillow fabric. I'm going to just kind of do that as a background. Once you have a nice little bud started here, take a needle and thread and just run it through a couple times to secure this all at once. That's what we've done to this other end here. So go ahead and set that down in the middle of your fabric. And if you want, you can kind of just even stick it with a pin just to go ahead and get it set. Then just take your length. This was a total of 4 strips of fabric, one from each color, so stitched together with the scallop. And this is all you're going to do. You're just going to kind of lay it down. Once we get all these petals in place, we're going to pin it and then take it to the sewing machine to actually kind of stitch it down and tack it to the base, just along where it was ruffled. Now that it's laying all flat, you can take some pins and then start just kind of pinning each of the strips kind of to the base so they don't move when you move it to the sewing machine. Just finesse them so they kind of are all even. I think I like the way that's looking. This is going to go onto a 14-inch pillow form, so that's kind of why I've cut the base the way it is, and I think that's going to look really cute. Whatever your project is, there is a scallop ruler that will fit from the smallest all the way up to the largest. So check out our website where you can purchase the scallop rulers and the appropriate pushers that match the size.